in high temperature demanding applications. We're looking to give you some considerations for your projects and some tips on how you might scope that project. Our panel of experts today will help you begin a checklist of information that will help you define key requirements that are necessary for effective deployment of RFID in high temperature applications. However, if you can move us on to the welcome screen, please, Tracy. Thank you. Before we start, first a couple of housekeeping items. Everybody will be on mute during the presentation. If you've got a question, please submit it through the GoToWebinar panel that's located on your screen. There will be a question and answer session at the end that we're looking forward to, and we'll answer as many of your questions as we can. For those of you, if you have questions that are not answered during the webinar, we'll provide an answer directly via email following the event. As an attendee, you will receive a link to the recorded webinar following the event, as well as a link to order a free sample of one of the tags featured here today via the email that you submitted with your registration. I think that's about it, so let's get started. Tracy, if we can move on to the agenda, please. Thank you very much. So, I'm going to do a quick introduction of the panelists that we've got today, a little summary of OmniID and our history, and then we'll talk about high temperature RFID, target applications, assessment of the market. We'll introduce our high temperature products that we're very proud of, and then Dave is joining us to talk through quality assurance, product testing and validation. And I'll then close with an application checklist, and we'll be happy to take your questions and hopefully provide you with the right answers. So today, a little bit about myself. I was one of the founders of OmniID when we spun out of Kinetic, British Defence Technology. We've utilized their stealth coating technology to provide a reliable antenna structure for using passive UHF RFID on all metal and other demanding applications, kicking off around about 8 or 9 years ago. Today I'm responsible for product development in both passive and active hardware, together with the software team, responsible for the order fulfillment and operations team, and finally our manufacturing and supply chain, which is predominantly based in Asia. Ed joined us around 3 or 4 years ago and is responsible for the high growth that we've enjoyed over the last couple of years, and he's got great experience in building sales organizations that deliver customized solutions. Dave Hewitt is our quality manufacturing director, together with being the general manager of our assembly and test manufacturing facility in Qingdao, northern China. Dave's transformed our culture with a particular emphasis on quality since he joined us in 2009. Prior to that, he'd spent over 10 years in high-end electronics manufacture, and today he's based in China and has the proud record of having delivered many successful audits from both Western and Japanese blue chip organizations. And finally, we have Matt Baruzzi, who's our product manager for our passive hardware products. He joined us in 2008, straight from college. He's very much grown up with OmniID. He has a great understanding of the engineering and the technology that goes into our products and how they can combine to provide a first-class industrial product, and also how they work best for our customers. So next slide, please, Tracy. So OmniID has a proud history of innovation. We were the original patent holder for all metal RFID. We provided the first ultra long range passive RFID tag, first printable RFID label, first global response non-age ceramic tag, but way back in 2008, 2009, the world's first on-metal global tag, and with the world's only industrially paper visual tags for materials flow solutions, plus a host of other applications. Over time, I believe we've developed a reputation, an enviable reputation for quality and innovation in the marketplace, and we're trusted by our customers in a range of industries where we deliver products that are applied and used in some of the harshest environments on the planet. So at this point, I'd like to hand over to Ed Nabrotsky, our Chief Solutions Officer.
Thanks, Tony. We'd like to talk to you today about why we actually need a high-temperature RFID tag. You can appreciate with OmniID's position in the marketplace, we're in the midst of some of the harshest applications on Earth. And despite the fact that they're a harsh environment and they're used in very rugged applications, our market has changed. These applications are now becoming critical to everything that we do. Our cars, our food, our health are increasingly under more government regulation, and the people we're working with are telling us they need better traceability, better verification, better data over the entire process. However, that is a challenge. Today's technology can't handle the exposure to high temperature, some of the steam moisture, and even the heat cycles that happen in those applications. So we've been consistently asked for some years now to seriously look at this market and develop a new technology, something that can survive in a cost-effective, compact form that can handle these environments. The repeated cycles in particular are very challenging. So the key takeaway we'd like you to appreciate is that this market has changed. Some of the harshest applications in our marketplace are seeing increased need for traceability and tracking, and OmniID is responding. We're going to talk about 4 specifically with you today. These are perhaps the 4 largest that we've encountered and that we're working with actively. The first is in our automotive manufacturing market. Here there's a couple of key areas. One's the paint booth, where high temperatures are part of the curing process for the paint that goes on all of our cars. Secondly, though, there's tools and forming jigs used in different parts of the assembly that also have high heat requirements. So manufacturing is one of our anchor customers. We'll speak a little bit in specifics about them. Food processing is obvious to most of us. We realize much of the food that we buy has been pre-cooked. Certainly the equipment that processes it is regularly cleaned under high temperature and steam. However, traceability in this market is really, really important. So critical inputs, containers, and even equipment and measuring its cleaning cycles are increasingly under government regulation and require tagging. Healthcare devices have made a lot of the news recently. Many of you may have read about track and trace of surgical instruments. Certainly uptime and equipment utilization metrics are being applied now to hospitals as they're becoming more and more regulated, particularly in the U.S. under some of the new legislation. So healthcare devices are a huge growth market. And then oil and gas equipment. Tremendous concern in the oil and gas market by regulatory bodies that they can track key pieces of equipment, pumps and also pipes that are used in deep sea drilling as well as in onshore fracking applications. And the pressures and the temperatures experienced by those pieces of equipment mean that the only practical way to tag those with a high heat, harsh environment tag. So Matt Baruzzi, who's an excellent product manager for us, is going to talk in more detail about each of these applications and how some of the new technologies have been developed to meet them. Matt?
Hello. As Ed has just said, I'm going to start by talking briefly about some of the requirements. Are we still there?
Hello, Ed, Tracy, can you hear us?
We can hear you.
Okay, very good. Right, we'll ignore Miss GoToMeeting webinar person. Please continue, Matt.
Okay, so I want to talk briefly about some of the requirements of the various industries that need high-temperature RFID tags. So the automotive industry use rapid paint cure process, whereby the vehicles are exposed to between 200 and 210 degrees C for up to 20 minutes. This is part of an automated rapid paint cure process. To be able to track vehicles reliably through the paint booths and onto the production lines, the automotive industry requires RFID tags that can operate over numerous high-temperature exposure cycles. The tags are attached to car carriers that go through the high heat curing process. These carriers are reused and exposed to high temperature over and over again. These tags are proven to perform reliably even after many hundreds of extreme high temperature cycles. Can we have the next slide, please? Okay, so let's move on to the oil and gas industry. Drill pipes are used for drilling and exploration of oil fields. These are often kept in storage yards until new exploration sites are found. These pipes regularly undergo inspection and maintenance while away from the oil fields. These pipes need to be tagged to ensure compliance with regulations mandated by government that require oil and gas industry to keep maintenance and inspection records of various equipment. The tags also enable customers to keep track of their assets' precise location in storage yards and in the oil fields, minimizing the time wasted due to having the correct equipment on time. Our high-temperature RFID tags can be embedded into drill pipes and perform consistently after exposure to high heat, vibration, and pressures generated in the drilling process. Can we have the next slide, please? The food industry requires tags that can be embedded in large vats and containers. These containers go through many cycles of high heat and steam that is present both in cooking and in the sterilization processes. The food industry tracks containers for traceability, ensuring that they have been sterilized and the food processed in the correct way. It is an intensively competitive sector and therefore needs to derive value from any investment made. Our new range of high-temperature tags can survive this extremely challenging environment and give food processors assurance that they know that the food vats have been processed in a controlled manner while returning a positive ROI. Next slide, please. Okay, the healthcare industry needs to track surgical tools and small medical implants. This ensures that they have the correct equipment during surgery and make sure that they have been through the autoclave sterilization process. It also allows them to check that all tools are accounted for after the surgery and to avoid any medical devices being misplaced. Regulatory requirements vary from region to region. OmniID is currently working closely with some of the world's largest medical instrument companies. We are customizing our products to operate within an appropriate encapsulation that works best for the health services in that particular country. RFID tags need to survive many cycles of autoclave process that uses high pressure steam heated to 121 degrees C for about 15 to 20 minutes to sterilize the medical equipment. We have the next slide, please. Okay, so we've been working on developing our new high temperature products for a couple of years now. During this period, we've been performing detailed research on high temperature materials and manufacturing techniques. We have performed many hundreds of high temperature thermal cycle tests to ensure that our solution is truly high temperature, allowing you to build reliable and consistent solutions. Our competitors have produced a number of high temperature tags during this period. However, prior to launching our new range of high temperature products, the market is clearly divided into two segments. There's been some very good products that will work very well. However, these are ferociously expensive and it's very difficult to justify an ROI based on the high price point of these products. On the other end of the market, we've had some very interesting products. However, on a performance, reliability and assurance standpoint, you just could not trust them to do the job. On the next slide, we'll talk a little bit more about this. So in practice, this means that competitors' products are big, bulky and heavily packaged. They're not suited to many applications. Some products have been rated for high temperature. However, in practice, they have failed after only a few cycles of so-called high temperature. Next slide, please. So let's take a look at what made us make some of these judgments. And here are some of the highlights. 30% of a group of tags we tested suffered from significant degraded performance after only 50 thermal cycles. Another group of tags we tested had paint flaking after a single autoclave cycle. These tags also suffered a low read rate due to poor RF design. And here we have pictures of a third group of tags that we tested. As you can see from the pictures, the tag enclosure split. And this happened after 50 cycles of 0 to 180 degrees C thermal cycling. So to summarize, the market is split into two segments with nothing bridging the gap of quality and affordability. And that is where we come in. Go to the next slide, please. So today, I'm extremely excited to tell you about OmniID's new range of high-temperature tags. These tags have been proven to survive the harshest thermal environments. We are introducing the smallest high-temperature UHF RFID tag on the market. We also have the thinnest high-temperature ultra UHF RFID tag. We have the world's only global high-temperature UHF RFID tag. We have the best performance to size ratio products currently on the market. We have proven consistent performance. These products are affordable and they provide a positive ROI. They're not universal, they can be customized and are ideal for embedding. Let me tell you a little bit more about our new exciting FIT100 HT. This is OmniID's smallest RFID tag to date, and it's been designed for attachment to very small assets. It is 16% smaller than the competition's smallest RFID tag. It is the thinnest ceramic tag on the market, and it provides up to 1 meter read range on metal. It's available both in EU and US variants. It survives 225-degree thermal cycling applications. Like all the FIT products we're talking to you today about, it's available both in high temperature and regular temperature versions. Today, we're also very proud to announce our new FIT210 high temperature. This is the lowest profile and thinnest high temperature UHF RFID tag. It's ideal for applications that require tags with minimal protrusion. It achieves up to 2 meters on metal. It's available in EU and US variants. This tag has also been thoroughly tested and survived 225°C thermal cycling applications. Okay, we've also upgraded our current FIT400, which is our most popular form factor ceramic tag for high temperature. Today, we introduce the FIT400 HT. It has a read range of up to 4 meters on metal. It's also available in EU and US variants and also survives 225°C thermal cycling. We're also very proud and excited to announce our new FIT700. This is the world's first global ceramic tag for high temperatures. It will be available in normal temperature and high temperature versions. It measures only 15 by 15 millimeters and is 4.5 millimeters thick. It has a global read range of up to 7 meters. We have taken your feedback on our previous products, and this tag has been conceived for ease of embedding. Its square profile is ideal for simple round recesses. The tag has been embedded into the flange of the valve that you can see in this picture, and is so small that it can't even be seen. The product will be available in October. Okay, so to summarize, we have launched the FIT100 HT, FIT210 HT, FIT400 HT, and our new global FIT700 GS HT. Due to reasons of how the IC operates, as the tags are heated up, the frequency and performance characteristics of the product is shifted, and they cease to operate above 85°C. Do not worry about this. As the tags cool down, it will regain full operation. During the IC manufacturing process, the ICs are baked for up to 24 hours at temperatures that exceed 225°C. Therefore, they are designed to survive extreme high temperature cycles, and the RF functionality of the tag will operate at temperatures of up to 85°C. Our products have all been extensively tested to survive many thermal cycles of -40 to 225°C. These tags have also been thermally shock tested. What we're talking about here is instant transition of -20 to 225°C for many repeated cycles. No other company tests their products like this. All 4 of these products come with the alien Higgs-free IC, and they're all specifically designed for on-metal applications. The Fit 100, 210, and 400 are regional products that come in EU and US variants, and the Fit 700 is global. For attachment, we recommend permanent liquid adhesive. However, we can provide transfer adhesive to be used as placement only. As you can see here, the Fit 100 is the smallest tag, and it's nearly 20% smaller than the competition. The Fit 210 is the thinnest high temperature tag on the market. The Fit 400 HT is the same form factor as our regular Fit 400, and the new Fit 700 GS HT, measuring only 15 by 15 millimeters, is ideal for embedding into round recesses. All tags are IEC-EX, ATEX, and C1D1 compliant. So now I'm going to hand you over to Dave, who's going to talk a little about our product validation and our quality procedures at OmniID.
Thanks, Matt. That was a really good introduction for the high-heat RFID applications. I'm delighted to work for OmniID. I'm very, very proud to work in our wholly owned facility in China, Qingdao. Lived there 6 years, helped build, develop, establish the facilities, validated and tested the products to their limits. Within OmniID, we have a very world-class, robust quality assurance, product validation and testing standard. All of our products we design are designed for manufacturing. We measure the product's characteristics, we validate the products through environmental, cycle and thermal validation screening. Our products are developed to withstand extreme harsh conditions, and we validate and verify those through rigorous in-house product validation and halt testing, which includes shock, cycle, soak verification in extreme conditions. We measure the tags throughout the experiments, we measure the mean time before failure, and we test our tags to the limit. Only after our tags pass our harsh, strict standards in-house will we move the product through product validation. During the validation process, we test the tag even harder to approve it for volume manufacturing. We have our own stage gate processes, our strict pass-fail criteria, and we will fail our products if it doesn't meet our strict requirements in-house. And that produces market-leading RFID tags for the industry. Our tags are absolutely designed to the limit. If it doesn't meet our standards, we don't make it. So in Qingdao, we have our own world-class product validation testing facility and laboratory. We're ISO certified, 9001, 14001, and we have a laboratory set up which is fully certified, whole validation, testing protocol and machine. We've got biometric chamber for RF performance measurements. We've got a suite of thermal shock and cycling chambers. We have the most stringent QA testing in the industry. We test to 100%. We have more test equipment than we can count. We've got anechoic facilities, shock chambers, cycle chambers, which go up to 300 degrees C, thermal soak, low temperature down to -40 C. We test our tags so harsh, we can take them from 225 C to -40 in a few seconds, cycle the tag 100 times, and measure the change of the product. And it passes our criteria. We do impact testing, we do IP testing, we do UV aging. We test our products thoroughly. Within our facility, we do over 300,000 tests, measurements each year. Next slide, please. Everybody in OmniID very proud of our reputation in the market. We are the #1 manufacturer and supplier of industrial RFID tags, many first to market innovations. Why? Because here at OmniID we put quality first. All of our products are 100% RFQA tested to ensure consistent read and write performance. We do hundreds of thousands of measurements in our certified laboratory every year. And if it doesn't meet our standards, we won't make it. We will scrap the product, we will improve it. We have developed material expertise, process expertise, and understanding of what our customers need. We have a Six Sigma methodology within our manufacturing facility. We do CPCK analysis. We do, as I said, thousands of measurements within our facility. We make industry-leading RFID tags with quality controls and outstanding reliability. Thank you. Next slide, please. I'd like to introduce Ed to talk about our high temp application. Ed, please, over to you.
Thanks, Dave. You're a tough act to follow. I know that our audience on the call right now is saying, this is amazing. I can't believe these tags survive this kind of a test criteria and this kind of rigor. And you're asking, how can I get some of these? I need them for my application. So I want to take some time with those that are prospectively thinking about calling one of our sales personnel anywhere around the world, so that you can be prepared for that conversation and start to engage OmniID as a partner. You can't choose a better partner or someone more interested in your application than OmniID. But before that call, here's a few things we'd like you to think about as you prepare to order your first high temperature tags from us. First, think about the temperature range and the cycles. You've seen some great test data in Dave's last slides and some of the things that Matt talked about as we designed for these applications. Remember that OmniID is a true solutions company. We care about your application. We're not going to try and shoehorn you into exactly what we built. It may be, and we are delighted when you can use off-the-shelf product tuned exactly the way that we've done it for our catalog. But it may be that you've got a particular temperature range that you're interested in. It may be that you have specific cycles that you want to profile. The same equipment that you see that we use to test our tags for catalog could be used to explicitly test your application and give you the assurance that you've got a product that will meet your needs. It's essential, especially presenting to your management if you're doing a major rollout, that they feel confident that this can survive, something that perhaps they didn't think was possible. So think of our test resources not just assuring you of quality, but as something that you could use and negotiate with us for to profile your application specifically and make sure the tag works for you. Even more importantly, we have a lot of customers that are debating various mounting options of the tag. So just tagging an asset is fine to think about when you're sitting around a table, but when you're actually looking at it, do you want to create an aperture? Do you want to embed it down beneath the surface? Is there a flange or a protective lip that you might want to embed it up next against? Realize that when you're considering that surface mount or that embedded application, it can dramatically change the performance of the tag. The good news for you is that if we tune our antenna structure slightly differently, changing some impedance, we can compensate for what you're doing, embedding it or putting up against that protective flange. So we need a high degree of interaction with you to really optimize it for your application. So think about how you want to tag, do you want to embed, do you want to put it up against some other barrier, and make sure that we can work on that with you together to meet your needs. Read range is always important. Think about your application from start to finish. At what distance will you want to take a reading from this tag? Are there places you're going to want to write to the tag? If that's the case, remember that writing to the tag often requires you to be much, much closer to the tag. So identify all of those read and write ranges in your application, so when you speak to an OmniID representative, we can match you with the right tag product and make sure they can meet your application needs. Also remember, read ranges vary between fixed readers, different types of antennas, and handheld units. So clearly think about your application where you'd want to use a mobile device, where you might have a portal in place, or where you have flexibility to put a more powerful antenna into your application. We probably spend more time on adhesives and encapsulation than almost anything in this product line. We have materials engineers that spend time on glue and being able to put these things down in the right way. Think about your adhesives. think about the surfaces you're trying to bond to. If there's specific requirements of paint that we're going to have to stick to. We need to know all of that as we talk with you so that we can give you the best advice, either to go source that yourself or to start a collaborative project to test and design for your application. We showed you some response curves on frequencies, and for those that aren't as aware of the RFID market, there really are two major frequencies and a few others that are specified by region. If you're operating just within your region, you would source what we call a regional tag that has one frequency response centered on your region. Say it's the European market. But if you're going to ship your assets globally or do a tracking that's going to go through all of your supply chain around the world, you'll need a global tag that has multiple response curves. Think about that and make sure you're ready to profile that to your OmniID representative when you call them to indicate where these assets will go and where they'll need to be read or written to. We spend a lot of time with our customers doing qualifications and certifications. As Dave mentioned, we've been through a number of audits with large Fortune 500 companies to make sure that the manufacturing process meets their needs, that our ISO certifications meet their needs. Think about what qualifications and certs that you need to make us a vendor for you. And I'm sure we can accommodate you and work together to make sure that happens, but we'd like to know that when you call us. And lastly, probably the biggest thing on your mind will be what's your program budget. The initial budget could vary with your commissioning and perhaps some NRE to do something specific, but then a target unit cost that you want to get to once you get to volume. Prepare those numbers so we can work with you and get the right cost-effective solution for your needs. We hope to hear from you soon. We think that we've got a really attractive product line for you, and you can call any one of our offices. We are, if we flip to the next page, Tracy, for our Q&A piece, we are present all around the world, and if you can't find an OmniID partner close to you, you certainly can feel free to call our customer service lines directly and allow us to speak with you and get you hooked up with the right people and the right information to satisfy your needs. With that, I'd love to open us up for questions, so we can take your questions from any member of the panel that spoke with you today.
Okay, I think we've got a couple of questions coming in, Ed. So, Matt, here's one for you, I think. High temperatures are an issue for most adhesives. What do you recommend is the best attachment method for high temperature tags?
Okay, some high temperature applications require encasement. We can work with partners to develop custom encasement if required. However, high temperature plastics are very expensive, and for the majority of applications, it's not required. So what we recommend is a high temperature liquid adhesive or epoxy. We've used these very successfully in several applications to date in North America. If you have a custom requirement, we're always happy to accommodate and work with you and your team to ensure you meet your application needs.
Okay. Couple more, Ed. We've got a question, perhaps you'd like to take it. Are your high temperature tags deployed in the healthcare industry today?
Ask the sales guy that. I love the word deployed. I guess the answer is yes. Healthcare is a pretty conservative industry and has been moving towards tagging for some time. It does take them a while to fully deploy when we think about a full rollout deployment. We have deployed in a number of different labs and test setups. Interestingly, we have 3 of the top 5 surgical equipment manufacturers actively working with us that we are under contract and developing products with them for. So it's a very important and growing market for RFID. I think it's still very early. Our deployments are currently small and some of them very custom in terms of the OEM side, but it's a big part of our revenue plans for the rest of the year in 2016 as these deployments mature and roll out across the industry.
Okay, thanks for that, Ed. We've got a couple more. Dave, could you give some more detail on the testing procedures that we use for these tags? And in particular, how do you test their survivability? How do we do that?
Okay, so as I explained earlier, within our wholly owned facility in China, we've got our own in-house laboratory. We we don't subcontract, we don't outsource our testing, we do it in-house. We keep control of the testing, validation ourselves. We've got a selection of chambers, cycle, soak, environmental. We have our product data sheet, product must test, and with a dedicated team, managers, engineers, technicians, they follow a test program defined by OmniID to test the materials, the tags, the characteristics to their limit. We have a strict pass-fail criteria, and if the product fails under any conditions, we will reject that product and design in-house. We are given the authorization, the empowerment to reject materials, reject tags, finished products, so only the best designs, the best products are released to the market for your enjoyment.
Thank you, Dave. Okay, I think probably worth noting as well that we generally test to an elevated temperature. So if we were to rate a product to 150, 200, 225 C, we will actually test a measure of temperature above that, maybe 10, 15, 20 degrees C, in order to establish a mean time between failure at the rated specification to the product. So that's obviously an example of highly accelerated live testing, and that gives us a high degree of confidence that we can predict mean time between failure for our products. So thank you very much for that question. Moving on, Matt, another for you, please. How does tag position or embedding affect tag performance? And if it's affected, why is it affected?
So yes, it is. The performance is affected, and as Ed mentioned, we absolutely take a consultative approach with our customers and have the ability to tune, adjust, or customize as necessary for your application based on our expertise.
Okay.
In the past, we have worked on custom-tuned products for the military, and that was for tagging weapons at the time. What we found at that time was that if a tag was placed in a recess and it was placed about 1 millimeter off center, we were seeing about 25% reduction in read performance. And to resolve this issue, what we did is we developed a placement tool, it's a placement jig to aid the fixing of the products correctly.
Okay, thank you. So tag position and embedding can affect tag performance, but it can be managed, and we provided guidance and in some cases tools for our customer to facilitate consistent performance.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, thanks very much. Ed, another for you. You referenced embedded tagging several times during the presentation. What can you say? Do we have a range of embedded tags?
Great question. I've been teasing, of course, because that's my job, is to tease customers that more products are coming. But yes, the tags that we've been talking about are obviously ideal to be embedded. There is some differences when you embed it into an aperture, differences in tuning, as Matt talked about. So we'll be launching more formally an embedded application suite with an embedding guide that shows how it should be embedded and tuning the tags for those characteristic recesses very shortly. Probably in the next coming weeks as we prepare for that launch. It'll be, of course, a variation here that's very important for our customer base. I just want to emphasize again what Matt said. We're very consultative in our approach. So although we're going to be putting out an embedding guide with recommended apertures and placement tools and jigs, that doesn't preclude you having a different kind of aperture that you'd like us to be suited to. We would love to hear from you and love to work with you on a project, even if it doesn't fit the characteristic implementation that we'll profile during that launch. One of the things that's really exciting about the embedded product line, though, that I'm personally really excited about is a global version. Really the first embeddable global version tag in this format in the marketplace, and that's something to look forward to the next few weeks.
Thank you very much. Okay, Matt, question for you. What kind of memory do the high temperature tags have? And if not, is there any plans for a high memory version?
Okay, good question. So, as we said earlier, our high temperature tags use Alien Higgs-free IC, and this has 512 bits of user memory, and it has a 96-bit EPC. Currently, we have no plans for commercial version of a high memory tag in our high temperature range of products. But absolutely, give Ed a call and share your applications and requirements. As we've said, we're great at providing custom products for your specific applications.
Thank you very much. Coming to the end now, Dave, we've got a question on our customization ability. This customer here has an application which has a pressure requirement as well as high temperature, and they've not found a product that's suitable so far. Can you describe what we might be able to do to help?
Okay. Hi. So I've been in China now. I've lived in China for 6 years, established the facility. In those 6 years, I think the only tag that we haven't designed is probably the flying pig, but we do so much innovation, so much customization. From the simplest application, maybe there's a requirement to have a texture or a finish or a material or coating on the product. You can work with us, tell us your requirements through our sales team. We can source materials, we can finish the products to meet your requirements. We do service bureau, no end of customizations for our customers. If you want 1D, 2D, hexadecimal, decimal, there's a million variations of customizations. We can provide you with the tags so you can apply them straight into your facility, meet your requirements, save you time, effort, and aggravation. We have perfect quality controls, reliability, repeatability, come straight out of the box, and you can use our tag straight away. We can do customization from frequency. I'm sure you guys know there's a million embedded materials, depths, cavities, recesses. All these will have an effect on the frequency. We can help work with you, support you to provide the correct frequency for your end use application. So again, take the tags out of the box, they fit your application. We do encasement, no end of encasements. We can design through 3D printing, simulation, make samples of encasements, different type of materials. You know, do you just simply want a material that you know, that you recommend? Through our supply chain, being in China, we have world-class supply chain. You can source materials that meet your requirements, meet your needs, ISO certified laboratory to validate, verify, fit, form, function, and provide you a finished product which makes us proud.
Thank you very much. I think it's also worth probably mentioning that we have some extensive CAD facilities based both here in the UK as well as in the facility in China, and we also have some significant RF modeling capability together with that materials expertise that Ed mentioned earlier. Thank you very much. So I think we're drawing to a close. I've had a final question come through asking about sample availability. So for those of you who's attended, we will be providing a sample of each of the Fit 100, 210 and 400. Samples are available now, so please contact sales@omniid.com to order additional samples or to discuss any application requirements or any follow-up questions you've got from this webinar. As for the Fit 700, as Matt mentioned earlier, this will not be available in sample quantities until October. We're just finishing off some of that testing that we've spoken about so much during this webinar. So thank you for all taking the time to listen. I hope you found the webinar informative and you have a much better idea of the applications and the challenges for high temperature UHF RFID tagging, and we provided you with some good background information as well as telling you about our new exciting range of products. Thank you very much.